So, has anybody ever seen spoken word before? Yeah. Cool. For those who haven't, it's all good. So, with spoken word, it's not, it's not poetry that's in the library. The irony is that this isn't a library, but when it comes to spoken word, y'all can make some noise. This is where this is performance. So the more energy you guys give me, the more energy I give you. So, let me hear some snaps. You hear something good? Let me hear some snaps. There you go. Yeah. And if you're not feeling the snaps, you can say, You try that, Or let's go. Let's go. Let's go. Let's go. All right, here we go. Let's go. First poem. To be or not to be? William Shakespeare. What's going on? Marvin Gaye. Did OJ really do it? The point is, these are just a couple examples of timeless questions, but there is a new question that will perplex poets and scholars alike, whose final answer would disband the United Nations, void the Geneva Convention, start World War IV, and become the motto of the New World Order in no particular order, ladies and gentlemen. Though this debate would span millennia, I feel so lucky that our generation has been granted first dibs at cracking the code to the most prolific question of all time, asked by Robin Thicke in his hit single, Blurred Lines. What rhymes with hug me? Obvious choices include chug me, drug me, plug me, tug me, and if you are pretentious, there are words that start with F and end in UCK, such as fire truck me. You see, when this song was released on March 20th, 2013, we've had since then to compile this worthless cornucopian field of supporting syntax, and after long car rides of deliberation with myself and my Kia Soul, well, I've come up with my own laundry list of answers of what else rhymes with hug me. For example, how about the Boston Marathon bombings? Or how about George Zimmerman found not guilty, Paula Deen burps N-words, and all lives matter? You know what else rhymes with hug me? Egyptian protests, Syrian civil war, and government shutdown. You see, it's not the answer that's the problem. It's the fact that we're looking for that hottest O in this place, trying to find a universally acceptable answer for it, and that just might be all the blurred lines world leaders will need to get World War IV started right before our eyes, because if this question already causes worldwide debate, how much more political clout do unmanned drones and chemical weapons need? And as long as we continue nibbling on pop culture's bait, hooked on answering these rhetorical questions with oversized hashtags flashing onto your TV screen, subliminally convincing you that tweeting, sharing, and liking is a formal form of uproar, well, we're one social network deactivation too late. I mean, come on now. Just ask Jack Dorsey, CEO of Twitter, or Mark Zuckerberg, CEO of Facebook. It's already a trend to be stalked, or as they call it, followed by the government because hashtags are the new mark of the beast. Ladies and gentlemen, we are neither deaf, blind, or going out of our minds, nor are we animals needing domestication, but it is in our nature to cross over these blurred lines, wake up and see what's really going on, then maybe we can finally give Marvin Gaye an answer. But if you really need an answer for what else rhymes with hug me, so you can go home and sleep tonight, for God's sakes, why don't we just start with love me? How y'all doing? Y'all still with me? Yeah. All right, cool. So the irony is that this next poem is called Homeless, but I'm performing this in my home city, in my own home community. So this is a poem that I had written a while back, and as an artist, you find that your art is always changing, and you find things in your past that you've written in the past that you feel very relevant even 7 years later. So this is a poem that I wrote called Homeless. I went to a bar with my friends one night, and after I poured 2 pitchers of beer in less than an hour down the hatch, my legs had cradled the balance of an earthquake, and I stumbled to the streets of my beloved downtown San Diego, a homeless man, found solace on the sidewalk. And as I looked at him through my beer goggles, I reached into my pocket of drunk kindness and pulled out $1 wrinkled in time. And as I tucked it into his hand, my mind got behind the wheel and then sideswiped this jaywalking thought that I've been having for years. Where is home? See, it is said that home is not where you live, where they understand you. So who might they be that understand me? And where might they be that understand me? See, over the ocean lives my mother Earth, my motherland, and my mother whose pure lineage has been contaminated with the seed of the Spanish and then nurtured with the green thumb of the United States. And after being bent over for 333 years, Spain opened this invitation to the United States and said, hey, y'all want to come tap this? You see, my motherland was passed from European pimp to American pimp. She was raped for $20 million, an overseas acquisition from an overseas excursion. I swear to you, one day, Ma, one day I will lay my head on your Pacific-kissed belly and sleep underneath the 3 stars in your sky. Then wake up to the 8 rays of your sun, smother my face to stay, but I'm ashamed to admit that I don't even know how to call you home. Sure, I've learned a few things about you in my Filipino language class, but I want to know what your real name was before the Spanish assigned you an alias to Rifle King Philip of Spain. I long to hear you typhoon in my ear of your long lip, bewildered history tattoo my heart in your original script, because if knowledge is the key, I know that the real you existed long before any foreign infection. And I want to unlock the cure to your STD, Spaniard transplanted deculturalization. But the hyphen in Filipino American makes my identity look like it's in handcuffs. And Arrested Development for when America took over your Pacificist naval Miranda rights to remain pledged to a star-spangled soil that's rooted itself so deep inside you that you no longer feel beautiful, so you shoot yourself up with American political Botox, making you look better on the outside, but what about what is within? I watch you trying to keep yourself together by tearing yourself apart, and you've contracted AIDS, an American imperialist democratic system, and it is because of this I am not your little brown brother, America. So when my skin feels more dead orange than a guava trees than a grove of apple pie, I remind myself that a house could never replace the feeling of home. So who am I to assume that homeless man in tattered clothing and tarp tent isn't right where he wants to be? Because homeless has never ever meant helpless, and he never asked me for that $1 in the first place. You see, home is not where you live, where they understand you. So that night, I was in my beloved downtown San Diego with 2 pitchers of beer on my tab and my legs cradling the balance of an earthquake. A man who found solace on the sidewalk came up on $1, but I walked away, realizing that I am the homeless one. Ooh. All right, how y'all doing? How y'all doing? Y'all still with me? Y'all still with me? Cool. All right. So my last poem tonight, I had to do this because this is for a friend of ours. It's a friend of mine who just recently passed. Anybody know Virgil Yalong Jr.? All right. If y'all did not know Virgil Yalong Jr., y'all are missing out. No history, no self. He was a big contributor to this community. He loved this community. He lived in this community and did all he could for this community until he finally passed in November. So this poem that I had co-written with DJ Cuttin Candy, I've rewritten for myself. So this poem is called Point B. On May 18th, 2016, Virgil Yalong Jr. wrote in his blog, "The quickest path from point A to point B is not a straight line. It's a line you lightly draw in, then darken as you become satisfied with it. Add texture, color, perhaps a bit of shading to emote a mood of what it's like to get from point A to point B. When Facebook made me face the news of your passing, my work shift came to a standstill for 7 minutes. The sound of chopping board and dishwasher played soundtrack while memories of you washed up on shore of my brand new journal. My office in the kitchen turned into a place I waited in those memories until I had flashbacks of Point A when we first met. It was at Kalisugan in 2012 for the PhilAmFest meeting. Kalisugan, meaning health in Filipino. I did not know back then that the texture of your life was darkened by your pride and health issues, but in the early days of our friendship and my artistry, bands, dance troupes, hip-hop acts, and acoustic artists got their play, and when you justified not showcasing spoken word at PhilAmFest to me, it made me feel ostracized from my own community for my art form. And I hung onto this grudge, the way a pendulum holds onto the weight at the end of a rope, and when the back and forth swing of going through the motions stopped, this gray area of our friendship choked me for years, and that's why I never wanted to perform at PhilAmFest ever again. See, holding onto this pendulum grudge turned into an anchoring pettiness, an excuse that weighed me down until I realized that I don't deserve to drown in my own shade. And when we finally talked it out 3 months before you passed, the sky did not open and beam down rays of sunlight from the heavens the way it does in the movies, but rather that weight lifted off my shoulders, and to this day, I keep trying to play the last reels of our conversations in slow-mo because you told me that you wanted to bring back the open mic I started, because you told me you saw my vision for it, because you told me that it meant something to you, because on May 16th, 2016, you wrote, "As much history as we have on the wall and as much accomplishments we have seen, it sometimes seems like we are never doing enough, and despite our differences, I realize that we share this common goal to better our hood, not for us, but for everyone around us." This not so straight line of a friendship of ours turned into a lifeline connecting the dots, where point A is when we met and point B is where you wanted to take me, and now it's up to me to reach point B in your absence. You gave me a reason to finish what you've started within me, a reason to carry on your clemency, and when I get there, I will grab a fist full of point B and dedicate it to your name, and believe me, I tried so hard not to beat on this dead horse of a metaphor for your heart, because there was so much more to you than that. But that's exactly why you were more than that. Even then, no one else knew a broken heart like you did. And it's because of you, Virgil. I have found a reason in my arts. I have found a reason to survive. Thank you.